state, so I like the play.
Well, when is your most creative time? For example, is it early morning, late evening? Elizabeth Berg writes the first thing in the morning as she wants to be close to the dream state that she woke up in. And so for you, what is your most creative time?
Personally, I don't have a time slot. Whenever it happens, it happens. I am a morning person. My brain seems to, when I get some sleep, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I produce whatever I'm going to do. But one thing I've learned is when you find that you get into, because it takes time for me to get into the zone, as they put it. Once you find that you are able to get into a zone, then you take advantage of it and you start trying to write whatever you can creatively, so that you can, by the time you drain yourself, then you're better fit. You got to wait for the next go round. But
World, I was feeling a little, I'd been in my business a while, I was thinking, okay, I have these great, talented kids whose parents are, I'm blessed to live in a community where they come and they take dance lessons, but there's got to be more than this. There's just got to be, we've got to be able to do more with my students and with what we want. And the story I just told before we all started this was, it changed our lives. I mean, the class has changed my teenagers' lives and my kids that help with that class, and certainly the gifts that I thought we were going to give came back triple with that. So that to me is an ultimate collaborative work in that we just grew from that experience.
What's it like to be in the zone, and how is it different from another activity?
Take that one. For me, when I'm writing, I'm kind of in this different place, and I'm seeing the scene. Like, if you ask me about the people in my novel, I can describe to you what their house looks like, what their dress looks like, what they look like. I can describe to you the street they live on, everything about it, because when I'm writing, it's almost like I'm notating a movie, and I'm seeing it happen. And sometimes you get rewind and you go, no, that doesn't work, and you have to go back and start the scene over again with something new that exactly click. But it really is a process where I'm somewhere in my brain that I'm not normally there. And I've had situations where my children will attest to this, or my husband, you'll come in and talk to me while I'm writing, and I can't answer you because I'm not in this world right now. I'm in this world, and I have to switch out of it. And once that gear clunks out, I'm done. And then they leave the room, and I go back, and it's gone. So it's all of us have been saying that. It's really precious, that zone, when you're in it. And you'll feel it, and it's just sort of an energy on its own, and it just takes off.
I think everybody experienced the zone. I think everybody has agreed. I mean, it's all within each and every one of us. Every day you do something and you can't believe you accomplished something. That's because you went to a zone to do it. So everybody has, we just use it as a pathway to elevate our talent. But being in the zone is something that we're all blessed with. And it's a matter of just knowing how to recognize it and then go forward.
The best thing about it is, for me, is that time goes away. It's totally, there is no, if you're truly in the zone, whether it's art or sports or anything, it's just, there's no time. I mean, every once in a while, I'll start and stand back, and it'll be 2.5 hours later, and I'll stand back and go, oh, that's cool. It's a great, it really is, it's a place you want to stay for as long as you can, because it doesn't last.
Do you think artists look at the world in a different way than most people? Do you think you make connections that others might not have thought of?
I'll respond to that. I had a situation this week in this big snowstorm, and the roof of our garage, there was this incredible drift, and it had this shape to it, and this energy, and these striations, and it was just amazing. And Ethan and I both went out and took pictures of it. And then I talked to a family member who will remain unnamed, and I said, how's it going? Oh, we had a lot of snow, and snowdrifts coming in. I said, oh, we have this amazing one in our front yard. And her response was, oh, I don't look at snowdrifts. I didn't look at it. And so I think from the perspective of an artist, part of it is just this awareness and this hypersensitivity that we could have just gone on shoveling and not looked at that beautiful shape that nature had created and not noticed it. And it's taking that step back and saying, wow, is that really awesome?
You know, the way the media and recently have had people discover Jesus Christ in several forms of situation. I think that's an unusual concept of how people can actually see things by way of imagination and stuff. Personally, I think that we all have a way of finding ways of looking at stuff in a different way. That's what it's all about. We're all avoiding individual snowflakes. Nobody's like yourself. And when I hear, especially young people who say they want to find themselves, it bothers me because you're there. You know, you don't have to worry about finding yourself. There's a lot of stuff that you yourself. Nobody's like you. And so we all have to understand that we have something to offer. I talked with a lot of young students at Columbia College, journalism students, and a lot of them are trying to become inspired reporters and photo journalists in areas like that, because we really need new faces in the media. Because we're witnessing is, to me, is a catastrophe in the media as far as how we cover stories. And I'm from the Tribune family retiree, was a retired in 2003, so I can talk about the media because I know of it. And that's one reason why I work with these kids at Columbia College, is to try to drum them into the point of, if they got the interest, we need your talent, we need your capabilities to do whatever needs to be done to turn this around so we can have a better, favorable media world. Because right now we're struggling in the media industry.
I think I have spent my whole life looking at things through like a framing glass, like this. I mean, I walk around, I'm on vacation, I'm wherever I am, and I do it. I create little vignettes in my mind, and I didn't know that wasn't normal. I thought everybody did that. And, you know, and I point things out, and people, yeah, they would not be looking at the snowdrifts the same way. But, you know, I have to say, it comes with its advantages and disadvantages. I'm very interested in gardening. So I could walk into any of your yards, and within a couple of minutes, I would probably be able to tell you exactly what you have growing in your yard in 6 months from now. On the other hand, I cannot tell you what one of my friends, what kind of car they drive. Because I don't care. You know? Yeah, I just don't care. So I don't really have any control over what I'm seeing. It's just the way it's working.
Is your artist persona the same as your day-to-day business self? And if not, how are they different? And how do you keep them separate?
I think an artist, if they're a real artist, that their day-to-day it better be the same as they are both personas. Because if you are a person who's spent the time to get to know who you are from within, and you have a value system, and you have, you know, like with me, a lot of my work is based on, there's a reason. Well, first of all, and I'm going to jump around a little bit here, but that's okay, but if you're going to be an artist, you need to know why you do the work you do. And if you don't know that, then, you know, I mean, I think that's the first step, because how can you get passionate about something that you're not committed to? So I think we need to find out who we are. We need to be that person, you know, 24/7. And I think that we need, you know, with me, it's a lot of the work that I do, I'm trying to create value. No matter what arena I'm in my work, I want to create value. I want to create work that causes people to experience an emotional response. I want to create work that people cherish. And I really want to, you know, with my philanthropic endeavors, the biggest thing really for me of all really is to use, you know, and I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I believe that all of us have been given gifts, passions, and talents by whatever level of spirituality you want to be. We all have gifts, passions, and talents. And I think that if we all discover those and we develop our gifts, passions, and talents and then use those, if everybody did that, can you imagine this world, how great it would be? And that's the bottom line.
Well, I think on that, feeding off of Tom's, what I think the term artist, I think what that really is someone who can see what someone else is bringing and then figure out how they're going to make that work in their life. I think there's a sense of tolerance. I think artists tend to be more tolerant of someone else's viewpoint. And for me, you know, when I see someone's viewpoint, then I want to think, well, now how can I work that into what I do? And it's very much about your life. What's going on in your life? Last year we did a huge, it was called Tribute in Pink. Breast cancer had, I had a friend who, the closest friend I have, you know, be diagnosed with that. And so that was at the forefront of my life in that 6-month period. And so for me, always my art is a place for me then to stretch, to solve the problem. I know I can't solve breast cancer. I'm not a doctor. I can't do that research. So what can I do? And I think the beauty that artists have, and I'm sure in the cartoon that you do, it gives you a voice that you otherwise might not have. And it's just very interesting, and that's what I go back to say. If you look at what, even my children's dance program, what were they doing then and what are they doing now and where have we come? And it's so the viewpoint of where you are in your life, if you are comfortable with that. I think that's almost where the real, you know, if you're struggling with how to be an artist, what am I going to write? What am I going to draw? You really just have to be, and it's a little overused, but you have to be authentic. Who are you? You know, and who are you right then? It might not be who you are in 10 years from now or who you were 10 years ago. And because your journey has changed, the path you are on. And I just think it's sort of the fun part of being it, is looking at where you are and what was important to you and watching that process happen, whether it's successful or not, because that's also how we grow, is to be willing to go, wow, that was a great idea that just did not come out the way I thought it would come out. And yet there are moments that you do something and you think, yeah, that was it. So.
Actually, I think both those are really well put for art does give you a voice. And I think it's a great way to say it. What we both are talking about is taking that voice and doing something more with it outside of just what everyone can do. It's more than taking it to that next level, which is very admirable.
I'm going to take what Bill just said to a higher level, and that is not only do artists have a voice, but artists have a lot of power. We have so much power. People really understood what the visual mediums, you know, and writing, what the amount of power. Look at the Renaissance. Who changed? Who made the difference? Was it the politicians or was it the artists? It was the artists. Artists have a lot of power, and we're wielding a lot of power. And with power comes responsibility. And that's why I think what we need to do is use our power to do something good.
Especially cartoons are just awesome power.
Yeah.
They're really good. Out of all the art forms, I think that one has the most because it layer it under a piece of sarcasm.
Yeah,
I mean, the Renaissance painters were cartoonists. They were, hey, I know what I'll do. I'll just put those two guys together.
I just recently had, I used to be with, back in about a year, 2 years ago, I was with Tribune Media Service. And when I was with them, I had an opportunity to be with, to do editorial cartooning. The Tribune company is a very fickle company. You know, back then, I don't know how it is now. But they, and if you didn't play their game of how you drummed up your ideas for editorial drawings, they didn't really come at you like you like it. I was always a rebel at my ideas and stuff. I'm very conservative in my ideas too. So what I'm trying to make is that the visual of anything is more important. Now, editors themselves itself, some of them still can live without graphics. They will tell you, they think that in the cartoon world, it used to be where if you were a better drawer and you were a writer, then you're okay. But now, if you're a better writer than a drawer, then they can go with what we do. So we're trying to, as cartoonists, we're trying to fight that, try to show them that graphics capability should be brought back to its fullest. But everybody has the graphics tools.
What can the masters teach us about art? What have you learned from the experts in your field?
I myself have quite a few people that I admire, but I always, whenever that topic comes up, I feel being unfair to mention one without mentioning everybody. Well, I can't really mention all of them. We all know that there are certain kind of cartoonists that have made some pivoting points of interest in our society, and we respect that. But what I've learned is